Welcome back, everyone. It's Pop Culture Junkie here for the predictions video for the 2018 WWE SummerSlam pay-per-view coming up this weekend, this Sunday, only on the WWE Network, and I'm assuming they still show it on pay-per-view. I don't get pay-per-views anymore because I have the network, and I'd rather pay $9.99 rather than, $50, $70, whatever it is nowadays. But we have the SummerSlam pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. Of course, we got TakeOver coming on Saturday night as well. I'm looking forward to TakeOver, of course. But today we're talking about SummerSlam. Now, SummerSlam has been around since, 1988 was the very first SummerSlam. And we had amazing matches all throughout the years. And coming up this year, we have 12 matches advertised for the show, and this is going to be a very long show. Okay, get ready for a good 6-7 hour show, I'm thinking, to squeeze all the action that they have on here. Still, we're going to have a couple of matches on the pre-show, then the rest on the card, so it's going to be a long night. Now, SummerSlam, they've heavily hyped it, mainly for, of course, the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns Universal title match, of course. That's going to get the most attention, even though it's a 3-year-old title belt, and they've hardly pushed and advertised the WWE Championship, which AJ Styles is defending against Samoa Joe. And you would imagine, wouldn't you put that in the front runner for your advertising? Wouldn't you push that, considering AJ Styles has been champion almost a year now, okay? Just before Survivor Series last year, he won the title. So why not give him some credibility and push that title? Who knows? I don't understand what their mentality is. Of course, we all know why, because Roman Reigns is Vince's boy, Brock Lesnar is the UFC guy with the mainstream appeal, at least in Vince McMahon's eyes, that's what it is. But I mean, really, the mainstream people are not watching wrestling. They don't care. They don't care. Vince McMahon thinks they do, but they don't, okay? But we're going to talk about my predictions for the card, and I'm going to answer some questions that people ask me on Twitter, which, by the way, if you ever follow me on Twitter, right before I do any prediction video and recap video, Sunday night, I'll be posting my recap from SummerSlam. So after SummerSlam ends, check me out on YouTube. You'll see my video pop up, and I'll share with you my recap on all the results that happened and my thoughts and opinions on things. And anytime that night, if you want to send me any questions to address on the video, I'll be live tweeting during the show just like I do with every pay-per-view. So you can tweet to me and let me know any questions or topics you want me to bring up in my recap video. But today, let's go ahead and get to the actual predictions. We got a lot of matches to go through. I'm going to go through them as fast as possible. So starting off, let's see. We got a couple of pre-show matches. They've already said these were going to be on the pre-show. So first off, we have the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, the B Team, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, defending against the Revival of Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. Now, we just had this match on Monday Night Raw this past week, and it was entertaining, it was good, but, of course, B Team picked up the win. They're still the champions, obviously. My pick for this one is going to be the B Team. It's on the pre-show. I don't think they're going to give the Revival their first win on the pre-show. I think they're going to either give it on Raw or at the next pay-per-view, and that's when they'll finally win the titles. Revival is awesome. I was a huge fan of theirs in NXT, and I definitely want to see them have a good run as tag team champs. They are a great tag team. So I'm going to go with B Team for the win here. Next, we have a mixed tag team match of Rusev and Lana versus Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. For this one, I'm going with Andrade and Zelina. I don't think they need to lose anytime soon. Rusev and Lana, they can take the hit. Pretty sure it's going to be Lana getting the pin, or Lana's going to get pinned by Zelina, as how the match is going to end. Andrade and Zelina, they're too new, and they need to get some wins and keep going. So I'm going with Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas. All right, next matchup, we have Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Now, this is a matchup that everyone's been waiting for. I don't really like the way that they have rushed this, though. It seems like they could have done something else. Maybe do a tag match, include someone else in, as their partners or something. I think maybe if Maurice wasn't out with the baby and everything, that there was a possibility they would have probably brought Brie Bella back in and maybe had Daniel and her tag against Miz and Maurice, and later on lead into an actual one-on-one match of Daniel versus The Miz, hopefully as well for either a number one contendership or an actual title match. But I just don't think they did this right. They kind of rushed it because it's kind of getting lost in the mix here with all the other matches that we have on this card. But for this matchup, I think it's got to be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has to get the first win. They were both part of the #1 contender matchup or tournament that they had, gauntlet match that they had on SmackDown a few weeks back, and The Miz got the cheap win by pinning Daniel Bryan after he was attacked by the Bludgeon Brothers. So yeah, Daniel Bryan is going to have to get this win, I think. So my pick's going with Daniel Bryan. Then we have Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin in the match no one cares about or asked for, and that's exactly what it is. I am so tired of Baron Corbin already. He just does not have the, quote, it factor that everyone says in WWE. You should have the it factor and you'll be in WWE, but I don't see it with this guy, okay? I never saw it, whether it was in NXT when he came to WWE, when he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I just never saw it, so I don't see what the appeal is to him. And with the gimmick they have him doing right now as the Constable of Monday Night Raw, it's just ridiculous, okay? He's horrible on the mic. His matches are, mid-card at best, and I have a bad feeling that after he does this gimmick that he's in as the Constable, they're going to push him up into the title match. I don't get it. I don't think that's a smart way to go, but I have a bad feeling that they're going to think, oh, he did such a great job as the, Constable. Let's have him challenge for the Universal title or the World title, whatever. So, no. For this match, though, Finn Balor, you got to come back with the Demon and squash Corbin and just get this done and over with. I don't want to see this matchup again. All right, we got our first title match on the main card, which is the WWE United States Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. And I'm sure we're going to have the creep, Randy Orton, creeping somewhere behind a curtain. And I know a lot of people out there probably read a lot of the rumors or the very bold rumors, I say, because there's a lot of people that are backing up the rumors about Randy Orton's creepy thing that he's been accused of doing when he meets new writers and such in WWE Creative and so forth. But yeah, I think it's bad timing for that story to come out, especially after this past week on SmackDown. I was really surprised. That story came out a few days back, and then on SmackDown you had Randy Orton hiding behind a curtain, creeping up, in the back area there behind the stage. And that just came off creepy, and it really didn't help any with that story that's come out with about him. So, honestly, I think they need to just scrap the Orton part of this. Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke have their feud, and they'll do fine. And I think if the match doesn't end with a clean victory for either one, then hopefully the next month's pay-per-view we get like a ladder match or something else, because I do feel they do need a little added stipulation in there for that. But for this matchup, I'm going to say, obviously, Orton's going to make some kind of appearance, interference, something, and I'm pretty sure he's going to end up costing Jeff Hardy the match, and Shinsuke is going to get the win, either by a distraction, possibly disqualification, but I think Nakamura is going to get the win with a pinfall. Then we have the WWE Cruiserweight title. Yes, they still have a Cruiserweight title. Cedric Alexander defending against Drew Gulak. I miss those days with Enzo saying that. But for this one here, I'm going to go with Drew Gulak. I think he's prime and ready to get a good title run now. So hopefully it'll be Drew Gulak getting the win here. Next we have the WWE SmackDown Women's title match. Triple threat. Carmella defending against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. I was really hoping it was going to just be Becky Lynch against Carmella. Becky Lynch is an awesome wrestler. I really like her a lot, and I wish that she would just get her own one-on-one match against Carmella. But they put Charlotte Flair in there. Obviously, hello, she's a big name, and she's a great star in her own right. So it's going to add more star power to this matchup. And obviously, it's going to mean there's going to be a lot of moments where they knock Carmella out of the ring. Basically, you're going to get a lot of Becky versus Charlotte, and then Carmella's going to come in at random times and do a couple moves, and then they'll get, she'll get thrown out again, and then they'll just go back to Becky and Charlotte fighting. For this one, I got to say, I want to see Becky Lynch get the win, but I have been, wrong in the past a lot with Carmella's title run, especially when she was battling Asuka. That was horrible how they had Asuka lose. Sadly, I'm going to go with Carmella retaining. For some reason, I don't think she's going to drop the belt here. So we're going to go with Carmella for the win. Then we have the WWE Intercontinental title match of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, the newly returned buff-looking Dean Ambrose in his corner, challenging Dolph Ziggler for the title with Drew McIntyre in his corner. This matchup is going to be awesome. We all know that Dolph and Seth can tear the house down and probably steal the show. So that match is going to already be amazing. You've got the elements of Drew and Ambrose being on the opposite sides outside the ring, so at any point those two are going to collide. You know that for sure. As much as I don't want to see Seth Rollins lose a match again, I don't see him getting the belt, and I'm not exactly sure if they're going to have any kind of storyline with Ambrose, costing him the match, whether it's by accident or purpose. But I don't see Dolph Ziggler dropping the title yet. I think he's going to retain. I think hopefully Dolph will retain and go on to someone else and have at least a couple more feuds with other people before he drops the belt. Because I really do like what Dolph and what Drew McIntyre are doing as a team, and I like Dolph Ziggler having a title. And since he's not going to get the Universal title at all, glad he's got the IC title at least. So I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler getting the win. Most likely it's going to happen with the outside interference happening. The ref's going to get distracted, and then Dolph's going to capitalize and probably get a roll-up win or something like that on Seth Rollins. And we have the Money in the Bank briefcase match. That's Braun Strowman will be defending the case against Kevin Owens. So if Kevin Owens gets the win, he wins the Money in the Bank contract. And it's already been stated that Braun Strowman can lose the case whether he gets pinned, he submits, he gets disqualified, he gets counted out, any other way, period, he loses the briefcase. So Kevin Owens has an insane advantage here, which sadly means it's probably not going to be what I want, which is I want Kevin Owens to win that contract. Most likely it's going to be Strowman throwing Kevin Owens around the ring for a good while. Owens might get a little bit of offense in there at some point, but chances are the monster is going to retain, and he's going to probably attempt to cash in later on in the evening. I want my win to be Kevin Owens. I want him to win, and I'd like for him to cash in. So going with Kevin Owens for the win here. That's my pick, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose. All right, next up we have the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship match of the Bludgeon Brothers defending against the New Day. We're not sure which two members of the New Day are going to be actually challenging for the belts. Usually it's Kofi and Big E, but who knows. This one here, again, I was really not wow about this. Everyone knows my feelings. New Day has been played out for a long time. They should have already been split up. I think Kofi Kingston, he should have already had some good runs as a top contender for the titles. Sadly, of course, 10 years ago, he basically got sabotaged by Orton. I think also Big E has a chance at being a very good monster heel, but he hasn't really had that chance to shine. He's been more of a goofy sidekick with the whole New Day gimmick. But I really don't really care if the Bludgeon Brothers win, whether it's by pinfall, submission, DQ, whatever. I just don't want the New Day to get the titles again. I think the New Day is done, finished. It's been overdone for the last several months, if not even over a year now. It should have just already been split up and moved on. So for me, I'm going with I'd like the Bludgeon Brothers to pick up the win. I don't see any reason to put the belts back on New Day. Okay, there's other tag teams out there. There's other possibilities for feuds. So yeah, let's go with Bludgeon Brothers for the win here. All right, we got AJ Styles defending the WWE title against Samoa Joe, and this matchup will be great no matter what. This is going to be an entertaining match. I don't really care for the way that they did the storyline here, where Samoa Joe's kind of talking trash or bringing up AJ's family and making it a little more personal. That's good and all, but the whole reading the letter at the end of SmackDown this past week, that was just weird. I didn't understand that. It's like, really? This is all you got? This is what they're going to give you guys? You know what? Just have Samoa Joe and AJ Styles go out there and do their own thing, because I know that was creative that pushed that on them and said, here, do this. It'll be great. And they're probably like, yeah, we could just talk and probably come up with something better on the fly, but it is what it is. So I'm going to say I don't think Samoa Joe's going to get the win here. I'm totally cool with either one of them winning, though. AJ Styles, I'm glad he's finally getting a long run as champ. It's coming up at almost a year he's been champion, and I'd be fine with him keeping the belt all the way through Mania, depending on who challenges him at Mania, of course, whoever wins the Rumble and so forth. But I would be perfectly happy if AJ Styles retains, but Samoa Joe is just as awesome. So it's a very hard choice to pick between the two. But if I have to pick one right now, I'm going to say AJ Styles will retain the title. All right, we got the Raw Women's title match. Alexa Bliss defending against Ronda Rousey. It's almost impossible for Ronda Rousey to not get the win here. The way they have pushed this matchup, with everything they've done in the promos back and forth, with Alexa Bliss calling her an overrated rookie, and I love when she first did that. It's kind of getting a little overly said now. It doesn't really have as much luster as it did when she first said it. The other things is Ronda Rousey is going to be going into this matchup alone because, sadly, of course, More than likely, Natalya was going to be in her corner or was going to make some sort of an appearance. Mickie James is out right now as well, so she's not going to be there in Alexa's corner. Probably going to have Alicia Fox there as some kind of stand-in or replacement for Mickie James now, since she's been there for the last couple weeks on Raw. But this matchup, honestly, Alexa Bliss and Ronda, it should be a great match, but I'm pretty much expecting Ronda to just snap and make Alexa tap within minutes. I don't think this is going to be more than a 4-minute match. So I am going to go with Ronda Rousey getting the win here, because we're only about, 2 months away from the Evolution pay-per-view, and I'm pretty certain they want Ronda Rousey, the big mainstream star she is, they want her going into their first ever women's pay-per-view as champion to really get the media's attention on this. So they're going to go with Ronda getting the win, and she's going to be the women's champion, which is fine. And then finally, the matchup that I think should be somewhere in the middle of the show, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last match of the night, even though it is not the top title in the company. The last match of the night should be Samoa Joe against AJ Styles for the WWE title. Instead, the main event's probably going to end up being the Universal title belt that was introduced 3 years ago, and it will be Brock Lesnar defending against Roman Reigns again. And I just don't want to see Roman Reigns get that title. I think it's ridiculous. On Raw this past week, on his promo, Roman goes, "It's about time I get back my Universal title." Roman, you never held the belt to begin with. You've never held that title. And it's been, 2.5 years or so since you held the WWE title, if not more? You haven't had a championship belt in how long, okay? Get your facts right sometimes on your promos, please. So I'm predicting Brock Lesnar is going to come out. He's going to just annihilate Reigns. I would love to see Roman just get annihilated like John Cena did a few years back when Brock Lesnar beat him for the title. I want to see Brock Lesnar just deliver 20 suplexes to Roman, F5 him twice, and pin him, and then call it a day. That would be amazing. And then have Strowman come out and attempt to cash in if you want to, or have Kevin Owens come out and attempt to cash in if you want to. Whoever is the winner of the briefcase there, have them come out and make an attempted cash in. Have Kurt Angle come out and say, "You know what? You may have squashed Roman, but I still got another ace up my sleeve. Here comes the Money in the Bank winner." Do that. Something. I just don't want to see Roman Reigns with that belt. And it's not going to work. If he wins the title, he's just going to get booed. It's not going to work. Just get past it already. So my pick for this, I'm picking Brock Lesnar. I don't think he's going to drop the belt. I could be wrong, but no. I'm going to say Brock Lesnar is going to retain the title. And I know there's big rumors that Paul Heyman is going to turn on him, but really they kind of ruined that on this past week's Raw when they had Heyman do the whole pepper spray into Roman's eyes, and then Lesnar came out and F5'd him a bunch and kicked him, beat him up, whatnot. It's like, you kind of spoiled that, unless that's just a big red herring to let us think, oh no, there was no way that Heyman was going to turn on Brock, but then he does anyway. That just waters it down. Yeah, so I'm going with Brock Lesnar retaining the title. I don't think they're ready to give the title to Reigns. I think they are aware of what kind of backlash it's going to bring on them if they give Roman the belt. All right, there we have it. Those are my predictions for 2018 SummerSlam. Let me know, share with me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on what you think on the show itself. Who's going to win? Who are your picks? Share with me. Now, like I said at the beginning of the show here, as always, I ask people on Twitter, send me questions, topics, anything to address in the video here. And we got a couple of responses, so let's see here. First of all, Kevin Haig asked, who would you have as Universal Champion? Also, who would you have as the commentary team for Raw and SmackDown? Well, right now, if I could have somebody of my choosing as Universal Champion, it would either be Kevin Owens or it would be Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, look at him when he came back on Raw this past week. It looked amazing, okay? He's ready for that main title run again. He's already been a champion. He's already been WWE champion in the past, and I think he's excellent for the Universal title. So, Universal Champion, either Kevin Owens or Dean Ambrose. And as far as the commentary team for Raw and SmackDown, with Raw this past week, we had the joy of having Renee Young on commentary instead of Coachman, unfortunately, because I'd rather have it been Coach, Renee, and Corey Graves. I'd rather have that. I have never been a fan of Michael Cole, and I'm not shy about that. I think he has ruined so many countless great matches with his horrible commentary, And I watch so many matches on Raw and on pay-per-view sometimes that I am having to mute because he is just so annoying. And I know he's being told to do this, and that's what's even worse. It's like, dude, you need to stand up and be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do things this way. But it's just like a broken record. He sounds like a broken record every week. He sounds the same during every spot for every person's match, etc. So it's just annoying. But who would I have on commentary for Raw? I would say Corey Graves and Renee Young. That's it right there. I would say for SmackDown, keep it the way it is because I'm totally fine with SmackDown's commentary. They don't have Michael Cole. So I'm fine with how they have there. If I could choose a different team, I would love to bring back Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross, of course, and put them on SmackDown. Otherwise, I would say if we're going to go forward with the whole, like we have our first ever women's pay-per-view coming up in WWE, and they made a big deal about Renee Young being the first first female commentator on Raw and whatnot. It's like, good job, WWE. You're only like 40 years, behind the rest of the world. Other news teams and other sport teams and sport broadcasts have done that already long ago. But I would say, hey, the Mae Young Classic, Lita was amazing on commentary. I enjoyed her. Beth Phoenix, I think, is in talks to do commentary on Evolution. If she's interested and if she does a great job, bring her on for SmackDown. Have a male and a female doing commentary on SmackDown. Have a male and female on Raw. Why not? I think it'd be a great idea. Bryce J. Hall asks, do you think Dean should turn on Seth, costing him the match on Sunday? I don't think so, because we've seen that happen already. First we had Rollins turn on the Shield, which broke the Shield up, and then Dean and Seth got back together. It didn't work. I mean, they got back together, and it just wasn't the greatest, return. They had the big pop whenever they first finally, became, brothers again. But then, unfortunately, Dean got injured. They basically wiped the Shield reunion stuff that they were doing last year due to the injuries. Jason Jordan, of course, got injured. He was kind of thrown into the mix there, and Kurt Angle was part of that too. And it just didn't work. I don't think they need to do any kind of breakup, though. I think if, like I said, Seth Rollins doesn't win the match on Sunday, I think it should be because Drew McIntyre is able to distract Seth and put Dean Ambrose aside for a moment to where Dolph can get a chin music out of nowhere or a zigzag out of nowhere and get a pin or roll up, whatever. I don't think they need to do any more feuding with Seth versus Dean versus Roman versus Seth, whatever. I want the Shield people just split up and they don't do anything as a group. Or they can be friends, but don't have any matches between them for many, many years. Okay, really split it up and just leave it at that. All right, guys and gals, hey, thanks so much for the questions. Remember, anytime you want to send me questions, you can tweet me at PopCultureJunk2. I've got my Twitter and all that stuff in the description of every video, so you can follow me on there. I will be live tweeting during the show on TakeOver on Saturday night, as well as Sunday during the SummerSlam pay-per-view. So if you want to follow me on Twitter and see my reactions right there as we're watching the show, follow me, share with me on Twitter as well what your thoughts are on the show. What are you enjoying? What are you not enjoying? What were your predictions? Are you predicting correctly or not? Let me know. Well, as always, I appreciate everyone for checking out the video. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the pay-per-view, and I'll talk to you later. This is PCJ, the Pop Culture Junkie, saying to me, remember, wrestling's always going to be real. Signing out, guys.